Welcome to Spartan Up Podcast. Joe, this is an interesting one. We've got a guy as our guest this week who is singing a song that you've been singing for a while.
I've been saying this for a long time. The entire world has been against me. I am so glad there's one other person on the planet that agrees with me. This is one thing that you can change in your life, and it's going to 10x your life. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to buy into it right away, but I guarantee you this is going to change your life forever.
Just before we go watch it,
Yep.
we have Sephra, we
Pleasure.
have Joe, Johnny, Marion, but this is a ballsy move. We have the spouse of the guy who's telling us how he's changed his whole life for the better.
We had to do it because no one out there is going to buy into this, and we had to get proof from the wife that what he's saying is accurate.
So we dragged her over here after she just
We
came off that
dragged
mountain.
her over here through the snow in Iceland.
Good Viking
She's soaking
she is,
wet
yeah.
to prove it. And we're going to get the real scoop. We are here for Spartan Up Podcast with Ruari Fairbairns, if I'm saying that correctly.
Spot on.
Has a company called 1 Year No Beer.
That's it.
We're not sure exactly what they do, but we're going to get into that. And we are in Iceland doing this interview where you just completed 5 miles of hell.
It's more than 5 miles. You might be telling people that, but it's more than 5
actually,
miles.
Actually, it was 4.8.
No way.
But maybe you've slipped a beer here and there. Who knows? Or a burger. But let's talk about this. So you were a broker, just like me.
Yeah.
And in London.
Yep.
And working your butt off. And every night going out with the clients. I was doing, at my peak, 2 or 3 dinners a night because the more clients you're seeing, the more money you're making.
So, yeah, exactly like you. I'm a broker for 11 years in the city. And I think the thing is, yes, our jobs, but what I've discovered, so many jobs are like it. You know, even creativity and media, and, you know, they're still going having beer time and stuff. That alcohol is really intrinsically linked to our identities. And, you know, I remember I was coming through life and I was just thinking, there's something not right here. You know, I'm feeling a little bit miserable. Health wasn't on its peak. Relationship wasn't on its peak at all. And to challenge myself, I decided to take a break. I was going to go for 90 days. And
But why did you think it was alcohol that was the thing pushing it over the edge?
I never wanted to blame alcohol. I was looking at everything else. You know, going to see a counsellor.
The shower wasn't hot enough.
Yeah, exactly. Going to see a counsellor. You know, what's wrong with me? Right. Why am I feeling depressed?
Yep.
Why am I not fit? Do I have to change my diet? You know, looking at everything else.
Right, but it can't be the alcohol.
Yeah,
'Cause they've been drinking alcohol since the Egyptians.
Exactly.
Right.
This is what every man does,
Yeah,
right? You know, it's a man's right. Drink it.
Look
get
at the
out there.
advertisements. Look how good everybody looks in those videos and commercials.
Exactly.
Right.
So, and it wasn't until I took the break that I was just blown away with how much life got better. And it got.
But
and
there are studies, too, that say, like, alcohol helps all these things, lowers cholesterol. I don't know. Is that, like, you didn't...
So the studies, all of the studies are talking about the ingredients that they add into the alcohol.
Got it.
Alcohol, let's just Wikipedia alcohol right now.
Right.
What is it? It's ethanol, right? Are there any studies in the world that says that putting ethanol in your body is good for you? No, there are none. So we'll just draw a line under that. You know, they're talking about tannins in red wine, and they're talking about the bits in beer.
But the French live so long with wine and cheese. That, like, doesn't that...
See, those sort of arguments are like, that's more about the lifestyle and how they feel and maybe
Right.
relaxing and things like that. So there are no studies which say that putting ethanol in your body is good for you.
I mean, I'm just teasing you because I'm 100% with you, but I know every single person listening to this is like, oh, here's Joe with his horse. Like, alcohol is good and wine is good. You maybe don't drink more than a bottle a night. So you do it. You give it up. What happens?
Okay. So I think the first thing is remember, I was like, I definitely don't want to give up alcohol. Why would I ever want to do that? And the amazing changes happened when I chose that. So that's why we had to dress it up as a challenge, just like Spartan. And we'll talk a bit later about the similarities between Spartan and 1 Year No Beer, because I was running around on that hill up there with the rain lashing at me thinking, yeah, this is just like giving up booze. So we'll come into that a bit later. But so when you actually remove it, obviously you have a withdrawal symptom or you have a detox process. Get past the detox process.
How was the first day?
Yeah, fine, really, for me. I was never a really big drinker. I mean, once or twice a week drunk.
Got it.
Normal. Certainly in the UK, that is absolutely normal.
That's
Probably
low-
light
that's low
drinker.
end.
I know. What's he talking about? He wasn't really drinking. And for most people, they go through, which we call an epiphany, they go through an epiphany sometime between 20 days and 60 days. And that is, oh my God, I can't believe how much better I feel. And the brain switches on, and you feel more energy, you feel happy. So we did some research with Stirling University, and it's like 82% more productive, 96% said they'd change relationship with alcohol forever. 87% of our members chose to carry on after 90 days, when in fact originally they were like, I don't think I'd even want to do 28, and here they were choosing to carry on.
Wow.
Yeah.
But those were studies paid by you.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
I'm just taking the other side of the argument because I know the listeners out there are not buying this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know it every day. This is your business, right? Everybody
it.
you go up against gives you resistance, I would imagine.
I think, well, let's talk about that similarity. So if I go back to Joe Public right now and I say, so I'm going to go to Iceland, and I'm going to run around on a hill in the ice and the freezing snow, and I'm going to do it for a couple of hours, and I'm going to come back in, be sodden wet, doing obstacles, trying to climb over these things, pulling burpees, tons of burpees. How many burpees? Loads.
What's a burpee?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see one. And they're going to go, why? I don't get it.
Why would
you ever do that? I don't understand. Why would you do that to yourself? You could stay at home with your iPad, sit on the couch, drink beer, chill out. Well, the answer is you do it because there's this incredible feeling when you achieve getting over those obstacles, when you push yourself. And absolutely, that's the same as dropping booze. And, the Spartans who are listening right now are going, I'm not sure I could do that, or I'm not sure I'd want to do that. And I'd just say, try it, because if you do, it will blow your mind how much life gets better.
What percentage of folks, you might have just said it in the Sterling study, but what percentage of folks that take on your challenge actually stick with it?
So 87% chose to carry on after 90 days.
So that's amazing.
Huge.
That's amazing, right?
And we're now over...
doesn't that speak for itself?
Yeah, it does. And the key thing is, so we had to dress it up as a challenge. Two brokers, totally understood. What everyone is hearing out there is like, you must stop drinking from the health people. And it's like, nobody wants to hear that. Go away. So let's dress it up as a cool challenge, something fun, something funky, something to be proud of. So that's what we tried to design. Something when you walk into the pub and somebody says, what you're drinking, you've only got a nanosecond there to say something. And this is why we have so many members who do Spartan races, because it's like that becomes part of our program is to book into a challenge. Sure. So they come and they say, I'm doing 90 days off the booze, and at the end of it, I'm doing this Spartan. And when you say that, all of a sudden, all that peer pressure disappears.
What about the social pressure?
Yeah, huge.
What's the angle there? Like, because a lot of people listening, I'm sure, are saying, oh, well, then, that's what I do on Friday nights. I hang out with my buddies in the pub. What am I going to do? I'm not going to have any friends.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. I thought, I'll lose all my friends, and I'll lose my job and everything else. So the key thing is, first of all, you have to design the excuse, so you need to get them on board. And there are ways to counteract it. So you can always call the ringleader. There's always one ringleader in the group. Call them in advance. Tell them that you're doing a challenge. Remember, when you tell somebody you're doing a challenge, they know that there's a finite end. They're like, okay, I totally understand. He's doing this for himself because he wants to push for it. We're not losing him to not drinking ever again, so we'll let him away with it. Second thing is, the non-alcoholic alternatives now is the biggest growth market in non-alcoholic beverages. It's huge. Beers, wines, spirits now.
No alcohol.
Huge growth, yep.
Nice.
The Seedlip is an amazing spirit, which you have like a gin and tonic, but no alcohol in it at all. Wow. So there's huge growth there because we're in a massive paradigm shift. Same thing that happened to cigarettes is happening to alcohol. And so now when you go to these pubs, for instance, as a broker, this is the kind of thing I'd have to do, and we call this stealth drinking. So you go up to the barman and you tip him 20 quid and you say, look, whatever everyone's having, I'm having non-alcoholic. Pint glass, non-alcoholic beer, topped up with lemonade, a pint. Nobody needs to know you're not drinking. Gin and tonic without the gin, there's loads away. If somebody buys you around, sip it a couple of times so they all see, wander off to the toilet, pour it away, back to the bar, get your fake drink. And the thing is, when you go through these challenges, these obstacles, which are going to the pub with friends, being sociable, the reward you feel the next day, I just feel amazing.
How long have you been off?
So I did 2 years absolutely alcohol-free, and now I just drink on very special occasions,
sure.
Which is pretty rare.
Like finishing a Spartan race.
Exactly. Have a beer now. Yeah.
So, and tell us the results for you.
So the results from the Spartan race?
No, the 2 years.
Yeah, I'm ADHD, And without a doubt, I was using alcohol as a way of numbing and avoiding. And I didn't realize that until I took it out of the equation. And when I took it out of the equation, my productivity and my brain power just 10x'd.
Nice.
Love that word.
Nice. No, we use it in the office. Yeah. We're going 100x.
And yeah, exactly. Well, I'll work on that. So, project managed the renovation of a 200-year-old barn, had another child, set up 1 year no beer, started podcasting, ran a half marathon, my first ever, and won 34:30. Got down to 10.6% body fat. I smashed life. It was just amazing.
Awesome.
And the biggest thing was my broking job. They said that I would literally be committing commercial suicide. And I felt it going in. I thought, what customer is going to want to have a broker who doesn't drink? You know what I did? I just changed my game. So instead of taking people down for a restaurant, first of all, I'd take them spinning. So I'd say, group of guys, 10 guys or whatever, let's go to the spin club first, and then let's go for a steak. How many of them fancy just smashing beers for an afternoon? Not many, because they've got the endorphin release.
Sure.
They've got that feel-good feeling. So they might have a glass of wine, but I didn't. I started doing instead of doing the ski trip, which is just inherently booze fest,
Sure.
we did like a cycling trip around Mallorca and stuff like that. So just swapped it up. Grew my business by 50% in the first year. Reduced my costs by 30%. Who doesn't want that?
Sure. Yeah, business changed. So I did the same thing on Wall Street, so I get it. I'm just teasing with I hear it in my own family. Like my in-laws are all Irish, so it's literally like pasta was for us as Italians.
Yeah.
And trying to get them off is pretty difficult. But thank you for sending me the program, because I've been passing it around the family.
Check this out.
Yeah,
Check this out.
Exactly.
Well, absolutely. The book that comes out now is the easiest reach. So the book is out in the UK on the 28th of December, 28-day alcohol-free challenge. Walk you through all the steps of doing it. It's all functional stuff about how to survive, because the reality is the peer pressure, the corporate pressure, the peer pressure. People will be wondering, I'm not sure what my boss will think of me if I'm not drinking, and those are the situations where you need to stealth drink.
Let's take a break, do some burpees, have a glass of wine, come right back.
I hope you're not sitting still while you listen. If you are, you better get a burpee break in.
So
They're getting better.
They're getting better. New Year's is coming up.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people that don't have your book.
Yeah.
What do you recommend if they want to get started?
I think I think the first thing is you got to plan ahead. Like anything else, you need a bit of preparation. This is a big challenge, right? Dropping booze. Society doesn't, is absolutely ingrained into us, and we talk about this a lot. How really we've been conditioned.
Al Capone would have killed you.
Yeah, there's going to be some people upset with me out there.
Yeah.
We're not against the alcohol companies. They are changing. They're bringing out loads of alcohol-free alternatives, which is what's fantastic. So yeah, we've been conditioned since we were 2 years old that everybody celebrates, commiserates, and congratulates with alcohol is what you do. It's so intrinsically linked in your
Smart
brain.
business.
So think about the neural pathways over years and years and years have been wired that it's just the automatic reaction. New Year's Day, I must celebrate, therefore I'm going to drink alcohol. And to go against that is difficult. So to try and change your neural pathways, which of course you can, it's called neuroplasticity, you just need to really force your brain to rewire itself. And planning ahead, so thinking about what you're going to do. Having great non-alcoholic alternatives. In the UK, if you go to alcoholfree.co.uk, there is an absolute plethora of spirits, wines, beers, and most people won't know that you're not drinking. Second thing is that same part of that conditioning has been put upon you in the opposite way. So imagine how many times you've heard somebody say, "What? He doesn't drink? Oh, don't invite him. He's boring, blah, blah, blah." And you're like, "Oh, that's boring." Don't be the boring person. There's no need to. You weren't boring when you were 12 years old and you weren't drinking alcohol, so you don't need it when you go out and be sociable. And that's the thing, on New Year's Day, I've been to multiple stag do's. I was in Berlin at 6:30 in the morning in Europe's largest tech house without any drugs or alcohol, absolutely loving it because music is fantastic, not needing it.
And as everybody else is drinking, you become a lot cooler anyway. They have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you see everyone and they sort of look like they're having a stroke, don't they? Like this.
Sure.
And you
You're
look absolutely fun.
and shaking.
Yeah.
What's the significance of the challenge other than having an excuse to explain to your friends?
It must be manageable for people. So let's get a challenge, but it has a finite end. Therefore, you think, I can do that. And whether it's 28 days. So this is like Spartan. You've got the sprint, you've got the super and the beast. So we got the 28-day, the 90-day, and the 365-day challenge. And most people are not going to jump into a 365-day challenge straight away. They're going to start with your 28, warm up to it, get up to the 90. The thing is, most people are listening to this thinking, I just don't think I could do that. And we will show you exactly how to do it. When you probably know this phrase, bad habits don't need telling off, they need replacing, right? So what we do is we just fill you through really good habits, all the stuff you know, mindfulness, meditation, exercise, morning routines, all of that good stuff. And when you apply all these healthy habits, very soon you've moved past the negative stuff.
Sure. No, I love that. All right, 3 key takeaways. It could be anything. It could be, hey, you should exercise doing this every day, take cold showers, whatever it is. But we like to ask a lot of guests this.
Yeah, I think absolutely give this a try, first of all, because I always say to everyone, what if? So that's the thing. Just if you're thinking about it, give it a shot, because it will blow your mind. Second thing is make sure you book into a physical challenge, and that can be a Spartan. Of course, it needs to be a Spartan. What else would it be?
Sure.
Because it's so
Not
so
an
well
Athenian,
made.
a Spartan.
Absolutely. And the third thing, and it's the behemoth in all habit change, if you do this, and I talk about this like swimming, okay? We're talking about mindfulness now. Most people think when they go and do mindfulness, oh, I tried it and I didn't get it. Forget that. Treat it like it's swimming, right? You've never seen water before, and all of a sudden you've been asked to swim an ocean. How are you going to do this? You're going to turn up every day, practice. You're going to get water in your nose. You're going to hate it. But eventually, after keep practicing, you will get it. So mindfulness, absolutely key.
You're awesome. That was great. Thanks for coming.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So, Joe, I kind of feel like that.
Oh, what do you mean, kinda?
I feel very much that this is a good one for me to watch. It's funny. You and I go out for dinner, and I don't order beer when I go out for dinner with you because you don't drink beer. But when I go out for dinner with most of my other friends, they drink beer, I drink beer. And I'm not a big drinker. I'm not.
Is that why you don't go to a lot of dinners with me?
That's exactly it. I turn down a lot of dinners.
Celery gets old, Joe.
But it is funny. It's like, and again, I'm not a problem drinker. I'm not a big drinker. But when he said we celebrate, we commiserate, and there was another one, congregate, whatever it was, it's absolutely true that these things. Got a job promotion. We're going out. Drinks are on me.
By the way, I don't even think, and I should have asked him this. We could ask his wife. I don't even think it's the taste of I think it's the memories, the psychological memories of what come along with the alcohol that push us to drink.
Yeah, the laughs and the high fives and the hugs and all the other stuff that comes with it. Absolutely, for sure.
We do that on water.
And we do it on food.
Yep.
Right? Grandma's meatballs. You remember that whole experience, so you eat the meatballs.
And high fives.
But the really
around meatballs too.
The really interesting thing about this to me is this. I think we've tended to think of giving up alcohol as something that alcoholics should do. If you're an alcoholic and you're losing your job and you're sleeping in the streets, you should give up alcohol. And that's a pretty simple message, right? That person should give it up, and nobody will argue with that. But it's funny. I'm going to be super real here. I'm about 20 pounds heavier than I like to be right now. I eat okay, but I would have half a dozen beers a week. So not even one a day. One day I'd have 2 days I'd have 1. That's probably it, right? But that's 1,000 calories right there. So every 3 weeks, that's another pound. So every year, that's another 15 pounds. There it is right there.
And you just hiked 45 miles in negative degree temperature.
Well, no, but it's funny because I would never have thought before this interview that I would be somebody who even should consider giving up drinking. Because why would I? I don't have a problem. But it actually really challenged me. But we've got something way more interesting than my drinking problem. No, I actually want to talk to Jen. So Jen, Ruari, seems like a great guy. Has a great idea. He's running with it. It seems to have some traction. Something that he said that I thought was really interesting, and we talked about his relationships got better, obviously, but something he said was, you think about all these people, like your clients and your friends and all these people that expect you to drink. And it seems to me that something that was important to him was, who are the people that are more important to me? My wife, my kids.
Right.
And I'm wondering how much that played into it and what you want to comment about that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He took the decision on it by himself to kind of, challenge himself and see what's going on. But in no doubt did that completely change our relationship, 100%. And as a wife, what we do is we're accused of nagging. We say this and that and that. But I felt that when he made the decision and kind of went on this adventure by himself, we'd been together for a while. We had one child and we had another one on the way. But our relationship completely changed again after that, for the better. And for myself, then kind of came into this, right, well, he's not drinking, but I'm fine. And, I was pregnant, and after I had my baby, I kind of went back to my own kind of, well, I'm doing my thing, I don't care. And he's, this advocate for not drinking. But then now, all of a sudden I kind of went, well, actually, I realized myself how much better I am feeling. I really got into my training, and I realized that I've kind of been testing myself and seeing, how about I take it away and then I reinsert it and see what happens. And it's just been a negative result for me. So for me, it's just kind of become a no-brainer right now. So everything that he's doing it's making sense, And they've been working so hard at this for years now. And, being a spouse, you're supporting them and you're watching. Everything is, it's kind of going in super speed at times. But the fundamentals of what they're doing, everything makes sense in a way, and like.
What did that doctor say? What was that? Something like. If
results were a pill.
It'd be like $1 billion business.
Exactly.
Right. So the results they saw with the Sterling University, and they looked at it, was like conclusively, without a doubt, boom, boom, boom. Right? Your husband was saying.
Yeah.
Well, there's two levels of that, right? Because there's the studies and the science and the irrefutable evidence is the one, right? And people will refute that. They'll say, sure, that's a study, it was paid for, but whatever. But what you've also addressed is the personal experience. And that's, to me, that's even more real, because they can show me all the studies in the world, but I want to know how it's actually going to affect my life. And if it's going to make me a better husband, a better father, a better athlete, better all these things, then I start to think, well, why wouldn't I do it? Right.
Yeah.
So what is it that's so appealing or compulsive? I want to ask. Actually, I want to ask Seth a question.
Well, I'm happy to listen to the question, but I'm saying it seems like the training's paid off, because you just finished the sprint out here in Iceland at the Ultra, and
didn't just finish. She came sixth. I think.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Yeah, top 10 finish.
She would have been probably
rather
70th with alcohol.
Oh wait,
without alcohol.
No. Tell us. She was telling me about the one part where like the wind was blowing so hard.
Yeah, I was leaning full forward because the wind was so hard up not the summit, but at the top, and it was just so hard, and you leaning completely forward just to stay upright, but you're kind of leaning, and all of a sudden the wind would just go and just drop to your knees. Because I feel stronger. I actually did a sprint, a Spartan sprint in the summer up in Scotland, and
secret Spartan over here.
The week leading up to that, I'd have wine evenings, most evenings, with another mother of small children, and we sat there and we'd be like, kids are in bed. Oh, let's do this. Get a wine open. It's kind of what you do.
All understand
but
that.
I spent the hour and 34 that I did this sprint in beating myself entire the way, because I felt ill. I felt sick. I felt like my organs were, failing. And that I know that was because I just had been drinking wine all week. So I kind of went, no, this is what I'm doing now. So I've kind of taken it out of the equation, and I'm just training really hard, healthy hard, but like my mental health is at its peak right now. And I know that's because I've removed. As soon as I insert alcohol into my system, I go to very dark places.
Sugar. Yeah.
And the thing is, I think people think it's cool, the right thing, but like we touched this a little bit earlier. It's when people say, let's go and celebrate, let's go to the pub, whatever, they're not actually originally there for the drinking. We're social animals. We want to hang out together. We want to go and high fives.
It's just become the place.
It's just become the place to go, the pub, whatever. I mean, it is. You see a small change right now, but it's kind of the deeply ingrained thing. And so I think it is slowly happening. And I've gone through this pre-Christmas season now, going to parties and being the last one to leave and inspiring people. I had two mums come up to me the other day from my daughter's school, and they're like, "You've inspired me. I bought a Fitbit.
Hydration is the new hammer.
And I'm not drinking. anymore." So it is working. Like what we're doing is making sense. And you know what? If you can change one person's life, then you're doing a great job. Inspire one. Yeah. So what they're doing is, I'm here to say, I'm the wife, but I was also a harsh critic in the beginning. I was like, what? I'm Swedish, let's be honest. The Swedes like to party it up. But just seeing the difference in me, myself, and in our family. I mean, having small children is hard, and so what do people do? They dive into the bottle and think that's going to help things, but it makes things twice heavy the next day. So it's just getting out there and inspiring people and doing something and making sure that they're find themselves, really, because it's easy to lose yourself, especially when you're a mom of small children. You become the mom role, and what do you do to stay cool? I'll just keep drinking wine at home in the sofa. Whereas I think I'm seeing more and more of my mum friends. Sorry, I'm waffling on a bit, but my mum friends, they're all getting out there, getting fit, and giving up the booze. And you're not giving up anything. And it's that social stigma. You're what is it? You realize there's so many other.
What's awesome is coming from her. It's different than coming from the three of us, right? Because
Right.
from us, we sound a little commercial or whatever, or we're not as good looking as she is. And she's a mom, and so
Speak for yourself.
I was gonna say.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that,
We're
Johnny.
making
You
a
and
joke,
I.
like, when they made humans in Nordic, we think like the chisel was a little sharper. And by the time they got to North America, they're just like, wow.
They didn't have a chisel anymore. They did a Phillips screwdriver.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but something that Rory referenced that I thought was actually really important too, and I want to ask you about this. So he said, I gave it up completely. For 2 years, I'd given up completely, and now, you know what? I will allow myself an occasional drink for a very, very special occasion. Mm-hmm. And I know that you talk a lot about ceremony and ritual and the importance of that, and we've lost that in our society. Like, the idea that wine was a sacrament, or wine was something that you did toast at a wedding.
Dionysian.
But it takes away from that when it's also everything else. So that's a very different scenario too, and I think it might actually be easier for people to accept and embrace this idea, because if you're an alcoholic, yes, you have to give up alcohol forever, because it's an addiction, it's a poison, it's an allergy, and if you drink it, you're going to be right back on it. Whereas if you're somebody who has just given up because you've decided it's not going to be a big part of your life anymore, you don't have to know that you can never, ever, ever, ever have a beer again. You're just choosing to never have a beer again. And I like when you said you're not really giving something up if you're replacing it with something even better, right? So from your experience, is that something that is relevant?
I just went for my sister's 50th. I flew up to Sweden for a surprise party, and I had a couple of glasses of champagne, and that's not the end of the world for me. I know it's not good for my system, and I'm gonna have to train a bit harder on the Monday, but at the end of the day, it's not causing any havoc in my life and with my family. And I think that if people can come to that point where they can have that one drink or two drinks and then that's enough and go home. But I think the issue is that most people don't have that. Everyone says, let's go for one. It's never one. But it can be one.
Well, and once you found something to replace it with that you're excited about anyway, that's just great. Hey, I'm going to tell you, I'm getting waved at by our producer who does such a good job of keeping us on track. We have these interviews sometimes that are really exciting, really fun, and this one we can kind of run away with because it's personal. It's reinforcing something you've said. It's kind of exciting me about an idea. Sephra's just over here being awesome.
No, but what I think it is, and then I'll wrap it up because we're leaving, but like you guys are the pioneer species. Anytime in a new circumstance, the first person who's dancing, they're all like, oh, weirdos, whatever. Mm-hmm. By the time the second one comes along, types become socially acceptable. Yeah. By the time the third one joins in, the next person is the whole team mobs in. So I give you guys accolades. Every new thing or old thing that we've forgotten takes stewardship and role modeling.
17 years I've been saying this. Nobody listens.
Joe, now you've got two more dancers.
They show up and
now
they're the
rest
new
of us
people.
No. We give you're the pioneers. Succession, ground cover.
Old man.
Don't do shit. All right, so if you want to see more pioneer speeches,
alcohol for burpees or your money back.
No beer for a year, no fear for a year.
Hey, I just want to mention Rory's book, which is sort of the gist of all this. It's coming out at the end of the year, so it's probably out already in the UK.
Thank you for watching another epic story of success. If you like our message, please share Spartan Up with your friends and subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you catch our show, maybe in the woods. Spartan Up is brought to you by Spartan Race. To find a race near you, visit Spartan.com.